is no better way to learn about how to do something right than to learn from your mistakes. Unless it would be learning from the mistakes that other people have made. So I'm going to show you some Excel spreadsheets and you can figure out what needs to be changed. So this data can be imported into SPSS. Now I'll quickly add 3 important caveats about this data. Number 1, the researcher gave me permission to use her data set. Number 2, this is only a portion of the full data set. The actual project was much larger. And C, the data are de-identified for confidentiality, so that you, the viewer, have no way of knowing the identity of any of the participants. The same will be true of all of the other data sets that I will show you. These data are in rectangular format. But what needs to change? The data are words, not numbers. SPSS will read all of this as string data. If you are sure that all you need to report are descriptive statistics like frequencies, the data can be used as is. But if you plan to do analyses like t-tests or ANOVA, it would be better to recode these data as numbers and then add value labels later. The recoding can be done in SPSS or in Excel. The problem here may not be immediately obvious. Yes, there are lots of string data, letters, that could be recoded as numbers. The real problem here is the tabs. The pre-test data are on one sheet, but the post-test data are on a separate sheet. SPSS can only import one sheet at a time. These data need to be combined into a single spreadsheet. And be sure to match the participants. Another problem is that the top row has a title in it, Data Collection Tool. That needs to be removed so that the variable names are on the top row. Now this may look like a mess, but actually these data are in pretty good shape. We have numbers, there are variable names, there's no missing data. The problem here, however, is the variable names. First, using color to organize your data in Excel is no problem. SPSS will ignore the color. That's fine, unless, for example, you are using color to identify your experimental versus your control groups, or to identify something else. If color indicates groups, then you need a variable for groups, coded 1 equals experimental, 2 equals control. Notice how the top rows tell you multiple things. Here is the code for which is the dominant hand. The value labels are in the variable name. Right equals 1, left equals 2. The solution is just to call this variable dominant, and then add the value labels for left or right in SPSS later. This is the hand length for dominant hand, and this is the hand length for non-dominant hand. Those need to be combined. So this might be length dom, and this might be length non. I would change these names to grip H1 T1, grip hand 1 time 1, and grip H1 T2. Finally, there is no need to do pre-analysis in Excel. In other words, here we see the mean and the maximum scores. Save all of the analysis for SPSS. We will create new variables using syntax so that the analysis will be replicable. Any problems here? Oh yeah, where to begin? These individual blocks of data each belong to a single rat. Hopefully, by this point you understand enough about rectangular data that you recognize that these data are going to require major renovation before they are ready to import and analyze. One more. Any problems here? Well, let's see. We have rows and columns. The top row is variable names. All data are numbers. There's no missing data. This looks perfect. Ready to come into SPSS and get started with data exploration and analysis. You can organize your data any way that you want when it's just you. But if you plan to use SPSS, your data must be in rectangular format. Knowing how to use rectangular format structure from the beginning can save you lots of time and effort later on.